Hello and welcome back to the deep end. I actually want to start today's deep dive by asking you to do something very specific.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, seriously, I want you to pull out your phone or look at your smartwatch or just check the corner of your monitor and verify the date for me.
Yeah.
It is Friday, February 2026.
Right.
We are living in a world of self-driving cars, AI that can write sonnets in literally seconds. And right now, the Winter Olympics are broadcasting live from Milan.
Yeah, the year's definitely 2026.
But if you open up Twitter or X or whatever we're supposed to be calling it this week, or if you check the trending tab on YouTube, you might feel this sudden, jarring sense of vertigo.
Completely.
Because the names dominating the cultural conversation right now, they are not the new Gen Alpha stars. They aren't the AI influencers. They are names that were famous on an app that hasn't existed for a decade.
It really is, it's like a glitch in the matrix, isn't it?
It's so weird.
We are seeing this massive resurgence of basically the Vine class of 2015. And it's a phenomenon that some sociologists and media analysts are starting to call algorithmic resurrection.
Algorithmic resurrection.
Yeah, it's this idea that the internet never truly lets a famous person retire, especially if that person was famous for being messy.
Wow, algorithmic resurrection. I kind of love that. I mean, it sounds like a bad sci-fi movie, but it feels exactly like our reality right now.
Totally.
And because this whole story is so deeply steeped in what the internet calls tea, which, let's be honest, is usually just a polite word for messy, reputation-destroying gossip that ruins lives but entertains millions, we're just going to embrace the chaos today.
We have to. It's the only way to analyze it.
Right. But we aren't just here to recap the drama for you. You can get that on TikTok. So officially, I want to welcome you to this special edition of The Deep Dive, which we are affectionately calling Tea Under the Spotlight.
Tea under the spotlight. I like it. It fits perfectly. Because usually, we're here dissecting geopolitical shifts or the latest breakthroughs in quantum computing or whatever. But today, our mission is to take this tea and put it under a really rigorous academic microscope.
Yes.
We want to understand the actual mechanics of it. We want to know why, in 2026, we are still talking about people who peaked in 2016.
That is the mission. And to help us do that, we have a massive stack of sources today, like a really big stack.
Heavy reading, for sure.
We've got transcripts from the Just Church podcast, transcripts from the premiere episode of Gabbie Hanna's brand new show, reaction videos from commentary heavyweights like Peter Mon and Ethan Klein from H3.
And the Reddit threads.
Oh, the Reddit threads. Yes, threads from the court of public opinion on Reddit, specifically our beauty guru chatter and Arfo Moy. And this is the big one, the piece of evidence I am most excited to unpack with you is the structural analysis paper.
Yes, the paper.
It's titled The Cyclical Nature of Creator Volatility.
That paper is dense, but it is going to be our absolute anchor today. I've gone through it like 3 times now.
So good.
It argues that internet controversy isn't just noise, it's an asset class.
An asset class? That's wild.
It is. It suggests that old grievances that happened literally 10 years ago are essentially a savings account that creators can cash out when their views dip. It posits this whole theory of the long tail of drama where conflict is just a renewable resource.
Okay, so let's set the scene for everyone. The central conflict here is the resurgence of the feud between Gabbie Hanna, Trisha Paytas, and Jessie Smiles.
The holy trinity of 2010's internet drama.
Exactly. Now, if you are listening to this and thinking, wait, didn't they fight 5 years ago
Yeah.
and 7 years ago and 9 years ago? The answer is yes.
A resounding yes.
But it is happening again right now in February 2026. And the question isn't just what happened, but why now?
And that why now is exactly where the economics come in. Because this isn't just about hurt feelings anymore. It's about the physics of the creator economy. We are looking at a real-time case study in how a creator survived the death of their original platform, and why silence is basically the most expensive commodity in the influencer world.
So true. All right, let's jump right into segment 1, the catalyst. Because this all kicked off because Gabbie Hanna returned to the internet this month, February 2026.
After a pretty long hiatus.
Right. For the last little while, she has been relatively silent. The sources say she was living in Pennsylvania, reportedly working as a Pilates instructor.
Yeah, really leaning into that normal life.
Almost like trad wife adjacent aesthetic, just very quiet.
And that silence is a really crucial part of the cycle described in that structural analysis paper.
Oh, so?
Well, you retreat. You let the audience forget the fatigue of the last controversy. You build up this whole idea of a new chapter or a healed self.
Ah, I see.
It creates a vacuum of curiosity. People start to wonder, hey, whatever happened to Gabbie Hanna? Is she okay? And that curiosity is potential energy just waiting to be converted into views.
Wow. But the new chapter looks a lot like the old book, doesn't it? Because she launched a new podcast.
Yeah, you did.
And she titled it, and I'm quoting the transcript directly here, an actually good podcast. Which implies a lot about her previous endeavors.
It really does.
But here is the key detail that Peter Mon pointed out in his reaction video. She's co-hosting this podcast with her husband.
And this introduces a fascinating new dynamic. Usually these creator feuds are solitary battles.
Right. It's usually just one person and a camera.
Exactly. It's Gabbie against the world, filming herself in her car or, her living room. But by bringing in a spouse, specifically one who, according to the commentary channels, doesn't seem to know the deep lore of the influencer world, she completely changes the rhetorical playing field.
Yeah, Peter Mon was pretty ruthless about this.
He didn't hold back.
He observed that the husband seems to just, quote, co-sign her bullshit. There's a specific moment in the source material where the husband asks her if she's taken accountability for her past, and she kind of dances around it.
With that sort of vague word salad.
Yes. A total word salad. And he just accepts it. He nods. It's like he's there to validate her narrative to an audience that knows better.
It's a highly strategic move, whether it's conscious or subconscious. In media analysis, we call this the audience surrogate.
The audience surrogate. Okay.
Yeah. The husband represents the normie. He wasn't there for the Vlog Squad drama in 2016. He doesn't know who Jessie Smiles is deep down.
Right.
So when Gabbie explains her side of the story to him, she's just talking to her husband. She is using him to reframe the narrative for a brand new audience who also might not know the history.
That makes so much sense. It's a filter. If she were debating Peter Mon or Ethan Klein on H3, she would be fact-checked in real time.
Instantly.
But by debating her husband, who loves her, lives with her, and is obviously financially incentivized to support her, she wins every single argument. It's a closed loop.
Exactly. It validates her narrative of victimhood. And that is the core of this new venture. Because if you look at the transcripts from her new show, she isn't coming back to talk about Pilates.
No.
Or her quiet life in Pennsylvania. She is claiming to be the victim of psychological abuse at the hands of Trisha Paytas, Jessie Smiles, and the drama channels.
She explicitly says Trisha ruined her life. She claims the drama channels are part of a coordinated harassment campaign.
Right.
But here's the contradiction that really stuck out to me in the sources, and the Reddit threads were just on fire about this.
Oh, they were.
She claims she wants a quiet life. She claims she wants to move on. But episode 1 of her new show, The Literal Launchpad, is entirely dedicated to rehashing drama from 2015 to 2019.
This is exactly what the structural analysis paper calls weaponizing historical grievances.
Weaponizing historical grievances.
Yeah, if Gabbie had come back and talked about gardening or the local Pennsylvania weather, the engagement would likely be terrible. The algorithm doesn't care about her garden.
Sadly, no.
But by putting Trisha Paytas in the title or the tags, by bringing up Jessie Smiles, she is guaranteeing engagement. She is literally trading peace for views.
It feels like a button she knows she can press. Like, in case of low engagement, break glass and mention Trisha Paytas.
Pretty much.
But I want to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Wait for it.
Is it possible she genuinely feels this way? Is it possible that she does feel abused and this podcast is her only outlet to process it?
It is entirely possible she feels that way. Feelings are subjective, rather. But we have to look at the metrics. The VidPro source notes that she had lost about 70,000 subscribers in her previous scandals. Her revenue streams were drying out.
Right.
So the apology tour she launched on TikTok and YouTube isn't just an emotional act. It acts as a marketing funnel.
A marketing funnel for her new show.
Exactly. It generates noise, even negative noise, to alert the algorithm that she is active again. It's a survival tactic for her digital career.
And speaking of things that feel calculated, we have to talk about the files.
The deep lore.
Yes. This is segment 2, where we unpack the high school bullies narrative Gabbie is pushing right now. Because we keep mentioning 2015 and the lore, and I feel like we really need to pause and contextualize this for you, the listener, who maybe wasn't glued to Vine 10 years ago.
It's important context.
Why is this specific group of people so volatile?
To understand this, you really have to understand the era of the Vlog Squad and the Vine to YouTube pipeline. In 2015, content was driven by extreme prank culture.
Yeah, it was a wild time.
It was basically Lord of the Flies with iPhones. There was a very blurry line between friends and coworkers, and an even blurrier line between pranks and actual abuse.
And the inciting incident here is dark. We have to be clear about the severity of the original conflict here. This isn't just, oh, she stole my lipstick drama.
Not at all.
And we are not taking sides here. We are just reporting what the H3 and Mashable sources outline clearly. It starts around 2015 with Jessie Smiles.
Right. Jessie Smiles and Gabbie were friends. They came up on Vine together. But Gabbie remained friends with Curtis Lepore after he pleaded guilty to felony assault against Jessie Smiles.
And that's heavy.
It is. This wasn't a rumor on the internet. He took a legal plea deal.
And Jessie obviously felt betrayed. The sources say she felt that Gabbie, her friend, invalidated her trauma to maintain a connection with a popular Viner.
That is the foundational crack in Gabbie's reputation. It established a pattern where she was perceived as prioritizing basically her access to a popular collaborator over the safety and moral standing of her friend.
Yeah.
She tried to both sides a situation that legally and morally didn't have two valid sides.
Yeah.
And that stain is incredibly hard to wash off, even 10 years later in 2026.
Then you layer on the Trisha Paytas component, and this one is wild.
It really is.
The allegation is that Gabbie told Trisha's then-boyfriend, Jason Nash, who was a key member of that Vlog Squad ecosystem, that Trisha had an incurable STI, specifically herpes.
Right. And Trisha disputed this immediately. Jason disputed it. But Gabbie's defense has always been that she was just looking out for Jason.
Right, looking out for him.
But in the eyes of the internet, and certainly in Trisha's eyes, it was malicious gossip designed to sabotage a relationship. It was a massive breach of medical privacy, assuming it was even true, which Trisha maintains it absolutely wasn't.
It's the kind of thing that ends friendships permanently in the real world, and yet here we are still discussing it a decade later.
Because the internet never forgets.
Never. And we can't forget the monster meme either.
Oh, the monster meme.
Gabbie went on Genius to explain her song Monster, and she belted out these vocals that, well, they became a massive TikTok sound.
Everybody knows it.
So what if I'm the monster? You know the one.
I definitely know the one. It's iconic, for better or worse. Mostly worse for her.
Right, and Gabbie feels that the internet turning that into a joke was a form of bullying. That is where a lot of the psychological abuse claim comes in. She conflates the valid criticism regarding her behavior toward Jessie Smiles with the internet making fun of her singing.
It's a classic strategy of flattening.
Flattening.
Yeah. By lumping everything together under the broad banner of bullying, she tries to dilute the serious allegations. If the person critiquing her support of Curtis Lepore is put in the exact same category as the person making a meme about her singing on TikTok,
then she can dismiss them both as just haters.
Exactly. But Jessie Smiles isn't just a hater.
No, Jessie Smiles has receipts. The sources mention Jessie's video, Gabbie Hanna needs to be stopped. That is a piece of internet history at this point.
Yep.
And currently, in 2026, Jessie is not accepting these new apologies from the new podcast.
And this is where the expert insight from the analysis paper becomes incredibly crucial. Jessie Smiles famously recorded her phone calls with Gabbie.
The phone recordings.
Yes. That is what the paper calls archival evidence. In an era where creators often try to gaslight their audience or rewrite history, having literal audio recordings creates a hard barrier.
It feels a little paranoid, doesn't it? Like recording your friends on the phone.
I mean, in the civilian world, yes, extremely paranoid, don't do that.
Right.
But in the creator economy, specifically the toxic tier of it that they existed in, it's insurance. Those recordings are what we call hard barriers to narrative spin.
Hard barriers. I like that term.
Because Gabbie can go on her new podcast and tell her husband, I never meant to hurt anyone, but Jessie can release an MP3 file where Gabbie sounds very, very different. You cannot gaslight a tape recorder. It's basically the Nixon tapes of the influencer world.
The Nixon tapes of the influencer world. That is such a great point. You really can't spin a tape recording.
No, you can't.
Now let's pivot a bit to segment 3 because the contrast here is staggering. While Gabbie is, as Peter Mon said, his words, not mine in her basement with bad lighting rehashing 2016, Trisha Paytas in 2026 is in a completely different stratosphere.
The divergence is arguably the most interesting part of this entire case study. Trisha Paytas has somehow managed to transition from a figure of complete chaos to a figure of, well, successful commercial chaos. She has effectively pulled off a rebrand without ever really changing who she fundamentally is.
It's wild. Her podcast, Just Trish, which she co-hosts with Oscar Gracie, is a juggernaut. We are looking at 50 million plus streams.
Massive numbers.
But look at the sponsors. This isn't just shady VPN companies or dropship jewelry. We are talking SeatGeek, Row, Olipop, Mint Mobile.
And that sponsor list tells you everything you need to know about her state in the economy right now. Row is a healthcare company. Mint Mobile is a major telecom provider.
Real legitimate companies.
Yes. When brands like that sponsor you, it means you have crossed the threshold from brand risk to essential media buy. Trisha has successfully framed herself as thriving. She talks about her family. She talks about pop culture.
She isn't crying on the kitchen floor anymore.
No, at least not as her primary content pillar.
Right. She's become the narrator of the drama rather than the subject of it. And speaking of narrating her life, we really have to talk about the baby name.
Oh, we do.
We have to.
Trisha's third baby. In February 2026, she revealed the name is Aquaman Moses.
Aquaman Moses. Let that sink in.
Aquaman Moses. When I read this in the source transcript, I literally had to double-check that I wasn't reading a satire site.
I did the exact same thing.
But no, it's real. And the reaction from me and the internet at large is just, it's pure camp. It's completely absurd.
But that is the absolute genius of it. Trisha has mastered the art of being a meme queen, where the joke is with her, not at her.
Yes.
She knows Aquaman Moses sounds ridiculous. She knows the internet will meme it into oblivion. But by owning the absurdity from the jump, she neutralizes the mockery. You can't make fun of her for it if she's already in on the joke.
It's also an SEO play, isn't it? Think about it. If you search Aquaman, you get the superhero movie. But if you search Aquaman Moses, you get Trisha Paytas.
Yeah.
She literally owns that term now.
Exactly. It's brilliant branding. Unlike Gabbie, who fights the memes and tries to explain them away for hours on a podcast, Trisha feeds them. She serves them up on a silver platter. And speaking of serving things up, the tamale incident.
The tamale incident of 2026.
Yes. Apparently, in February 2026, Trisha went viral for eating a tamale, wait for it, with the corn husk still on.
The husk still on. She just bit right into it.
And her reaction was, adios mio.
Which is objectively hilarious.
It is. But look at the difference in the fallout between these two creators. People are laughing at the tamale situation, but it's completely harmless.
Right.
It generates viral traffic. It gets her on TMZ. It gets Pop Crave tweeting about it. But it's not psychological abuse allegations. It's low-stakes viral content. It keeps her relevant without making her toxic to those big sponsors.
It's safe viral. And when you look at Trisha's response to Gabbie's new attacks, it's very telling. In the Just Trish transcripts, she largely tries to just ignore it.
Yeah, she barely gives it airtime.
But she does mention that she views the past Gabbie as a character on the internet rather than a real person.
A character on the internet. That is a fascinating psychological maneuver.
The classic dissociation technique.
Yes.
By framing the past trauma as a character arc or something that happened in a digital sphere, she separates her current successful self from that old mess. She basically says, that drama happened in a video game I used to play. I don't play that game anymore. I'm busy with my 3 kids and my Olipop sponsorship.
It's the ultimate power move. Indifference. She's just leaving Gabbie to shadowbox in the basement while she goes to the bank.
Exactly.
Now, let's get into the mechanics of this, which brings us to segment 4, the ecosystem of volatility. Because this structural analysis paper is fascinating. It breaks all this down into a science.
It really creates a tangible model for what we are seeing.
Yeah.
It argues that old drama doesn't die. It just becomes a reusable asset.
And there's a specific cycle, right?
Yes. The cycle is 5 steps. 1, hiatus or rebranding. 2, launch of a new venture. 3, weaponization of past grievances. 4, victimhood narrative. 5, audience polarization.
And Gabbie is currently hitting step 3 and 4 incredibly hard.
And the grease in the gears of this machine, the thing that makes the cycle actually spin, are the commentary channels. We have to talk about Peter Mon and Ethan Kleins from H3.
Right. What is their role in all this?
They are the amplifiers. Gabbie blames them for harassment. She says they are obsessed with her and won't leave her alone. But the paper argues it's a symbiotic relationship.
Symbiotic, so they need each other.
Yes. She needs them to talk about her to drive traffic to her new podcast, because without them, her reach is limited. And they need her to be messy to fuel their daily content.
It's a total feedback loop. Peter Mon actually had a quote in his transcript that was just searing.
What did he say?
He said Gabbie is jealous of the people that are continuing to thrive, like Trisha, because Gabbie, quote, fucked her own career. He essentially says to his audience, we wouldn't be talking about you if you didn't bring this up first.
And that's the cold truth of the ecosystem. If Gabbie had launched a podcast about Pilates and gardening, Peter Mon likely wouldn't have made a 40-minute video about it. By launching a podcast attacking Trisha Paytas, she summoned the commentary channels. It's a deliberate summoning.
So are the commentary channels journalists or are they vultures?
It's a mix. They act as the immune system of the internet in some ways, attacking perceived pathogens or bad actors and holding them accountable.
That makes sense.
But they are also scavengers. They feed on the carcass of a career. Peter Mon makes money when Gabbie messes up. H3 gets views when they react to the T.
Right.
It creates a conflict economy. Peace is not profitable for anyone in this triangle. If Gabbie heals and moves on, Peter loses content. If Peter stops posting about her, Gabbie loses relevance. They're locked in this dance of mutual destruction that ironically pays the bills for both of them.
That is incredibly bleak when you put it that way. It's an economy based entirely on human misery.
It is the business model of 2026. Attention is the currency, and nothing grabs attention like a train wreck.
The audience sentiment really reflects this exhaustion, though. We have sources from Reddit, specifically Weedy Guru Chatter and our Dance Moms. The general vibe from you guys, the audience, is just tired.
It is exhaustion, but it's also nuance. Because the VidPros list for canceled influencers in 2026 lists Gabbie Hanna explicitly.
But what about Trisha?
It lists Trisha as controversial but successful. However, the Reddit threads show that Trisha isn't fully absolved in the court of public opinion either. There's a lot of disappointment regarding Nia from Dance Moms going on Trisha's podcast.
Right. That was the whole sub-drama in the sources. Nia Sue went on Just Trish, and fans were really upset because of Trisha's past history.
Which is extensive.
Yes, the sources mention her past offensive comments, racism and anti-Semitism allegations, and generally problematic behavior over the years. We're obviously not taking sides, just reporting what the Reddit sources say, but it shows Trisha isn't fully forgiven.
No, she hasn't been canonized as a saint. But she has achieved a level of commercial insulation. Even with the backlash about Nia Sue, the Just Trish machine just keeps rolling.
Because the sponsors stay.
Exactly. She is essentially too big to fail in the ecosystem now. Gabbie, on the other hand, is still trying to litigate 2016 to prove she's a good person. Trisha has stopped trying to prove she's a good person and started trying to be a good business.
Wow. I stopped trying to be a good person and started trying to be a good business. That is a bar. Oof.
It's the reality of it.
Let's widen the lens for segment 5, the broader cultural context of 2026, because we can't just look at this in a vacuum.
No, we have to ground this in the now. The Just Trish transcripts give us a really great snapshot of the year.
They really do. We have the Winter Olympics happening in Milan.
Yes.
And there is this hilarious, slightly inappropriate investigation into the bulges of the figure skaters that Trisha was discussing on her podcast.
I love that part of the transcript.
Yeah.
Trisha offering to lead the investigation into the bulges.
It's so her.
It's that perfect blend of news and horny housewife energy that she just does so well.
And then we also have Mormon Wives, the TV show, being referenced, which seems to be the Real Housewives of 2026.
It creates this really vivid tapestry of pop culture. But the most 2026 aspect of this entire story, the thing that firmly places us in the future, is the ChatGPT accusation.
The ChatGPT moment? This is wild. Peter Mon's video was literally titled, "Gabbie Hanna didn't find God, she found ChatGPT."
This is a uniquely modern problem for creators. The accusation from the commentary sphere is that Gabbie's apology, or her monologues about mental health on the new podcast, sound robotic.
Like they were written by AI.
Exactly.
Right.
They utilize a lot of therapy speak buzzwords, words like holding space, accountability, trauma response.
Right.
But they are strung together in a way that feels synthetically optimized rather than deeply felt.
So people think she literally went to an AI and typed, "Write a script that makes me look like a victim of psychological abuse, but also makes me sound accountable."
That is the working theory online. And honestly, whether she did or not, the fact that it is a plausible accusation shows how much AI has infiltrated our perception of authenticity.
It really does.
In 2026, the line between a genuine mental health crisis and an AI-generated content strategy is getting very, very blurry.
It's the uncanny valley of apologies. Like, it sounds right, the words are technically correct, but the soul is just missing.
Exactly. And that raises a massive question for the future of the creator economy.
Yeah.
If you can automate your redemption arc, does it mean anything?
Does it?
If your apology is optimized for SEO and sentiment analysis by a large language model, are you actually sorry?
That is kind of terrifying. It turns human emotion into just another prompt.
It does.
So what does this all mean for us? Let's wrap this up. We have two creators who started in the exact same Vine ecosystem a decade ago.
Yep.
One, Trisha Paytas, leaned into the absurdity, monetized her messy life, admitted mostly to being a mess, and is now naming her baby Aquaman Moses while cashing massive checks from SeatGeek.
And the other, Gabbie Hanna, got stuck. She got stuck in the cycle of litigating the past.
Yeah.
She is trapped in 2016 trying to win an argument that everyone else left the room for years ago.
It really is a tale of two paths in the digital age. One path leads to a mansion and a highly sponsored talk show. The other leads to a basement podcast and a Reddit thread, wondering why you just won't stop.
The ultimate takeaway here, if we really look at the economics outlined in the structural analysis paper, is that silence is the only true cancellation.
Silence is cancellation.
Yes, as long as there is noise, even negative noise, even commentary channels screaming at you for 40 minutes, there is a business model.
Right.
Gabbie knows this. Trisha knows this. The only difference is how they manufacture that noise. Trisha manufactures it with joy and absurdity. Gabbie manufactures it with conflict and grievance.
Which leaves us with a final question for you, the listener, because we've spent an hour dissecting this and you've spent an hour listening. We are all part of the ecosystem too.
We are. So if a creator screams into the void about a 10-year-old drama and no commentary channel reacts to it, does it make a sound?
Or are we, the listeners, the ones keeping the ghosts of 2016 alive by clicking?
It's a good question.
Are we the battery that powers the machine? Something for you to think about next time you see a storytime thumbnail or a reaction video pop up in your feed. Thanks for diving deep with us on Tea Under the Spotlight. We'll catch you in the next timeline.